I need that little out there.
One mile around?
Hell no.
You know what?
Put it on.
Come on.
I ain't going that far.
And Spencer do a selfie. There he is. Hey, I'm proud of you now. What?
Go and roll the cat.
Hey, they're good.
Thank you.
They're good. You got the fried chicken.
I hope you like it.
There's a little more to the story. I was struck by this sentence in the BBC, Emily. It said the daughter of the man who swapped hats with the president said Biden kept the Trump hat. After the interaction, she said that her father ended up getting another cap from the Trump campaign after they reached out. So he kept the hat. I mean, does he have it by his bedside in the White House?
I don't know. It's so weird to me.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I tell you guys in my first video today that I would talk about an explosive report that has come out revealing that there are mounting tensions between the Biden and Kamala Harris team headed into the election. Okay, apparently they're not working well together and communication is breaking down after Joe Biden was forced out of the presidential race and Kamala Harris was installed as the Democrat Party nominee. Now, up until Joe Biden dropped out, he had maintained that he is staying in the race. And he told the Democrats, challenge me at the convention, right? If you want the nomination, you're going to have to take it from me fair and square. However, Biden didn't stick to his guns and eventually he stepped down. Now, the reason why he stepped down is not the story that mainstream liberal media is telling, that he willingly stepped down to save democracy. No, that's not what happened. The Democrats basically told him, look, if you stay in the race, we're going to take away all your money and we're going to make it impossible for you to beat Trump. Then we're going to turn around and blame you for why Trump wins the election, right? And that would essentially ruin Joe Biden's legacy. Now, we know that Joe Biden is very, very, very concerned about his legacy. And I think that's part of the reasons why he's so salty about being forced out, because I don't think that Joe Biden is a quitter, right? There's a lot of things I can say about Joe Biden, but Joe Biden does not strike me as the type of person that would quit in the way that the mainstream liberal media is claiming that he quit. Again, he gracefully stepped down because he believed that his time is up, right? And that he needs to make way for a new generation. No. That's not what happened, okay? Biden thoroughly believes that he is the only person that can beat Trump. His team believes that. And apparently, there are some issues between Kamala's team and Biden's team. And we've seen this kind of play out in public because they're clearly not coordinating in a way that they should be coordinating. And Biden doesn't seem to care too much about making Kamala look bad. Like, for example, Biden wearing the Trump hat, right? He wore a Trump hat at a 9/11 event with Kamala Harris in the room. The guy put on a Trump hat and then allegedly kept the hat, right? And that started a whole bunch of rumors about whether or not Joe Biden is Team Trump, right? Is he secretly MAGA? I personally believe that to be the case, okay? And you also have another situation that happened recently where Joe Biden appeared to hold a press conference while Kamala Harris was giving an important speech out in Michigan, taking away media attention from Kamala Harris.
I do have a note, and I'm curious what you think about this. We were actually about to go live to Vice President Kamala Harris, who's speaking right now in Detroit, Michigan, and apparently she's talking about this port strike ending. She's trying to appeal to union workers, and yet you have the President of the United States come out clearly overshadowing her, answering significant questions. Is that a communications mistake? Is the left hand not talking to the right hand in this situation?
That's a very good point. And if they were coordinated, as you assume they would be, this would not have happened.
Do you want to reconsider dropping out of the race?
I'm back in.
What made you want to come here today, Mr. President?
All right, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, and in the latest apparent backstabbing of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden came out and praised Governor Ron DeSantis as Kamala Harris was trying to score political points against Ron DeSantis because she accused him of refusing to answer his phone call and playing political games when it comes to the hurricane and disaster relief. While we know that Kamala Harris was actually really trying to score political points on Ron DeSantis, she was trying to get a moment for social media to appear as if she actually was in charge of things. Biden apparently was not playing along, okay? Biden decided to praise Ron DeSantis despite Kamala's attacks on him at the time.
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call.
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the president of the United States.
So obviously, this is not an issue that is about partisanship or politics for certain leaders, but maybe is for others.
You have this. And I just wanted to say Joe Biden and Jill Biden are trying to sabotage this woman. I said it on June 27th, the night of the debate. I absolutely believe it. She attacked Ron DeSantis today. DeSantis hit back, but Joe Biden said, I think DeSantis is doing a great job. I told him and I gave him my cell phone number.
Interesting point. I want to get a couple more quick things in here.
Yeah, so more and more evidence is piling up that Joe Biden is, in fact, trying to sabotage Kamala Harris, okay? So I'm going to read this report really quickly about the tensions, and then we're going to read another report from a Democrat strategist that actually has come out and said, yeah, Joe Biden is trying to sabotage Kamala Harris. So let's read this. Allies close to President Joe Biden and those running Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign reported tensions between the two camps in a report published Sunday morning by Axios. Alex Thompson reported he spoke to 10 people familiar with the situation who said that while all parties want to see Harris elected next month, glaring issues have emerged. Biden's embrace of his final months in the Oval Office and Harris's desire to defeat former President Donald Trump has led to a tense environment and a lack of trust with just 3 weeks until the election. Thompson reported, quote, the relationship between Kamala Harris's team and Joe Biden's White House has been increasingly fraught in the final weeks before Election Day. 10 people familiar with the situation tell Axios Biden's team wants Harris to win the election, but many senior Biden aides remain wounded by the president being pushed out of his reelection bid and are still adjusting to being in a supporting role on the campaign trail. Yeah, isn't that funny, right? It's funny how they're saying that Biden was pushed out. But again, the story in the mainstream media is that he wasn't pushed out. No. That wasn't a coup. No, Biden willingly stepped down, right? Funny how now all of a sudden they're saying that he actually was pushed out, which we all know is what happened. Some on the Harris team say the top White House aides aren't sufficiently coordinating Biden's message and scheduled to align with what's best for the vice president's campaign. Well, that's been done on purpose, right? There's no doubt in my mind that Jill Biden is running the White House, right? And we know the type of person that Jill Biden is. And if Jill Biden is the person that is supposed to be in charge of Biden's office and his staff, then she's probably going out of her way to make sure that there is no coordination. At least that's my guess, okay? This is speculation, but it's speculation based off mounting evidence of the fact that they're not talking, right? Like they're clearly not working together in the way that they should in order for Kamala Harris to win. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if Jill Biden is behind this, because we all know how Jill Biden actually feels about Kamala Harris after Kamala Harris basically called Joe Biden a racist on the Democrat debate stage back in 2019. Take a look.
A new book is shedding light on the moment when then Senator Kamala Harris attacked Joe Biden for his record on busing during the Democratic debates.
I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision.
So that's where the federal government must step in.
According to the book, Biden leaned over to Pete Buttigieg at the podium to his right. They barely knew each other, but Biden was looking for someone to share the moment with. Well, he said, that was some effing BS. And Jill Biden, the future first lady, following suit by telling a group of supporters a week later, quote, with what he cares about, what he fights for, what he's committed to, you get up there and call him a racist without basis? Go F yourself.
Yeah. So again, this is why I'm not surprised by these reports coming out now suggesting that Biden is kneecapping Harris as a power move, okay, after he was forced out of the race via coup, which Kamala Harris was confronted on at her recent Univision town hall. Take a listen.
Right now, leaning towards Trump, but I haven't made a decision. I'm also concerned about the way I feel President Biden was pushed aside.
Oh.
And so close to the elections, I believe these are extraordinary circumstances.
Given how close we are to the election. So, la pregunta, Mario?
And Mario's question?
The question, Mario.
So the question is, how can you clarify this whole process and how you were elected?
Sure. First of all, thank you for being so candid and allowing me to answer the question. Thank you. President Biden made a decision that I think history will show was probably one of the most courageous that a president could make, which is he decided to put country above his personal interest. And he made that decision. He within that same period of time, supported my candidacy and urged me to run. He and I have been partners for the last 4 years as his vice president, to him as the president. And I am honored to have earned the Democratic nomination.
Yeah, except you didn't earn it, right? You didn't earn it at all. And remember, Joe Biden, his team, right before he dropped out, were basically suggesting that Kamala Harris couldn't win, right? Joe Biden really believes that he is the only person that can beat Trump because Democrats told him that, right? They gassed him up to believe that, okay? So this idea that Joe Biden willingly stepped down and tossed this endorsement to Kamala Harris because he believes that she's ready, I think is a load of crap. I think that Jill Biden is playing some 3D chess because I don't think there's much going on upstairs with Joe, right? And I think Joe Biden at this point is effectively being controlled by Jill. She thinks for him, okay? And what's happening has all the hallmarks of some vindictive, like female type revenge, right? Like some really, really, really like underhanded, calculated, ruthless revenge, right? That only really a woman can pull off, okay? I'm telling you, when a woman wants to get revenge on somebody, a woman, I mean, she will do anything, right? She will do some crazy stuff to get revenge on somebody. That's why I really think that Jill Biden's behind this. But let's read this real quick. A Democrat Party strategist said he believes President Joe Biden is undermining Vice President Kamala Harris as he remains bitter about being forced out of the race in July. New York-based strategist Hank Shanekoff spoke to New York Post for a piece published Saturday in which numerous people spoke on the record to claim the president is sabotaging Harris's November chances. Scheinkopf told the Post that in his estimation, Biden has been lukewarm on Harris's run for the White House as both a power move and to ensure that people understand who the boss still is. Added Scheinkopf, quote, "It would be absolutely ridiculous to assume that he has no resentment over how he was treated or how, frankly, he was forced out in what some would describe as a coup." Yeah, so this is interesting because there was a video that came out of Joe Biden having to be reminded to allow Kamala Harris to speak as he's talking, doing some type of press conference. And Biden says, hold on, right? Hold on, okay? Biden clearly doesn't like being told that he's supposed to let Kamala Harris take charge, right? Again, this stuff is getting a little bit too obvious to ignore. Take a look.
That we're in a situation where, well, we're going to have to, I know I'm going to go to the vice president in a second. She's my boss. We're going to be, hang on a second, man. Sure. We're going to be going to the Congress. We're going to need a lot of help. We need a lot more money as we identify specifically how much is needed. So I'm just telling everybody now. I don't want to hear that this is going to be the end of it. So with that, I'll yield to the vice president.
Yeah, so clearly Joe Biden doesn't like being told by his handlers to let Kamala speak or that he needs to shut up and allow Kamala Harris to take charge. And apparently, privately, he's grumbling that Kamala Harris isn't mentioning him enough in speeches, right? Kamala Harris is trying to distance herself from Joe Biden, and she's stuck between a rock and a hard place because, like I told you guys earlier, she can't really come out here and trash Joe Biden because if she does, then Biden may go completely dark MAGA on Kamala and just come out and just start trashing the Democrats and to tell the world how angry he is that he was forced out, right? And that he really doesn't think that Kamala is cut out for the job, right? That is something that Joe Biden could do, okay? And he kind of wants Kamala to campaign on his record, right? He wants Kamala to come out and to pretend that everything he did was amazing, right? And Kamala clearly is not a talented enough politician to do that effectively, right? So she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. And you also have Kamala's staffers now blaming the Biden administration for not helping her campaign, saying that they're in their feelings, right? They're still butthurt from the coup against Joe Biden, as they should be, right? So all that is to say, in my opinion, I think that Biden should just come out and endorse Trump, right? Come on out, Biden. We all know that 20 years ago, you would have been a Trumper, right? You would have been MAGA 20 years ago, Biden. So you might as well come out and endorse Trump. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, for Joe Biden, right, if Kamala Harris loses, for him, it will be the ultimate vindication, right? He can say that, well, I told you so. I told you I was the only person that could beat Trump, even though that's not true. I don't think Biden had a realistic shot. And honestly, Kamala Harris is a bad candidate. If she loses, then probably both of them were destined to lose to Trump, regardless of what happened, okay? But to me, I think he cares more about that. I think he cares more about saying, I told you so, because, yeah, a lot of these politicians, they're narcissists at the end of the day, okay? You have to be in order to reach the level in politics that they have reached, right? You have to be full of yourself. You have to think that you're God's gift to earth, and clearly Biden thinks that, and I think he cares more about saying, I told you so, rather than the whole, well, you saved democracy title, because he knows that the reality of his presidency, his legacy, is going to be that he quit, right? It's not really going to be that, oh, well, he was such a great president because he dropped out and let Kamala Harris beat Trump, right? He knows that's not his real legacy. He knows that's not his real legacy. His real legacy is that he's a quitter, right? He's a quitter. So I predict that if Kamala Harris loses to Trump, he's going to come out and spill the beans, right? And he's going to trash the Democrat Party for pushing him out of the race. I really believe that's what's going to happen, okay? And that's why I am hoping and praying that Biden stays in good health through this election, because I want to hear what Biden has to say after Trump wins, right? I really want to hear Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the first person I want to hear from if Trump wins, because I think that he's going to have a whole lot of interesting things to say if Kamala Harris ends up losing the race. And in his mind, he will have been proven right about how he is the only person that could have beat Trump, even though that's not true. In his mind, that's what he believes. And again, I really do think he would much rather be right than to have his legacy go down as, well, you quit, right? Which is what Democrats want his legacy to be, is that he quit, right? I don't think Biden wants his legacy to be a quitter. I think Biden wants his legacy to be, well, I told you so. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.